Horror story. Bloodstained Garment. This incident happened to a female clerk in the company named Jane Anderson, whom we all fondly referred to as Sister Jane. That day, after finishing her early shift, Sister Jane walked back to the company dormitory building as usual. On her way, she was attracted by a new clothing stall set up downstairs in the large market. Normally, there were only a few regular vendors, so seeing a new face and the attractive styles of clothes displayed, Sister Jane decided to go in and take a look. The shop owner warmly greeted her as she entered, saying, "Oh, sister, feel free to browse and choose. The products are of good quality and affordable." Sister Jane exchanged a few polite words in response. After browsing for a while, she noticed that the fabrics of the clothes being sold were all of good quality, and based on her shopping experience, they shouldn't be cheap. She picked out a red floral maxi skirt and asked the shop owner about the price. The shop owner smiled and said, "This one is not expensive, $1.89. If you like it, you can take one." Sister Jane was pleasantly surprised and managed to haggle the price down to $1.80. Back in her dorm room, she couldn't wait to try it on. She stood in front of the mirror, admiring the fit. It was just right, neither too big nor too small. Sister Jane thought that she had spent a little money and ended up with a great find. She felt content and even hesitated to take it off. But in the middle of the night, while Sister Jane was sleeping soundly, she was abruptly awakened by the annoying sound of a door being unlocked. She wondered who it could be, opening her room door in the middle of the night. Could it be a thief? Sister Jane quickly got up and decided to go and check. Suddenly, with a loud bang, the door was forcefully pushed open, revealing a neatly groomed but completely naked woman. She rushed in, shouting at Sister Jane, "Where is my clothes? Give me back my clothes!" Before Sister Jane could react, the woman grabbed her arm and demanded, "My skirt! Give it back to me, quickly!" Sister Jane replied, "What skirt? That's the one I just bought!" The woman shouted loudly again, "It's not yours! It's not yours! There's blood on the clothes! It's my dress! Give it back to me!" As she spoke, the woman tightly gripped Sister Jane's neck. Just as Sister Jane felt she was about to be choked to death with her eyes closed, she suddenly woke up. It turned out that it was all just a dream she had. She couldn't help but feel a bit scared and wondered why she would have such a dream. Her heart was pounding, and she got up and turned on the lights. She took out the dress from the wardrobe and carefully examined it. Indeed, she found a dark red stain in the armpit area, blending in with the red color of the dress, making it difficult to distinguish unless one looked closely. Sister Jane was instantly frightened and threw the dress aside. She couldn't sleep for the rest of the night, sitting with the lights on. The next day, Sister Jane recounted the events of the previous night in a startled manner to her colleagues in the office. Everyone was astonished to hear her story. Some said that the dress was unclean and advised her to quickly get rid of it to avoid being haunted by evil spirits. Others suggested that she should go and find the store owner to clarify what had happened. Sister Jane made up her mind to confront the store owner. After work, she hurriedly rushed to the large market. However, to her dismay, there was no sign of the store owner. The place was completely abandoned. Hearing her story, nearby vendors nodded sympathetically and said, "I've heard from colleagues before that some unscrupulous merchants would buy clothes from funeral homes. Some families, in order to let the deceased have a dignified departure, would buy some expensive and beautiful clothes as burial attire. Some staff members would secretly remove them before cremation and keep them. When they accumulate a certain quantity, they sell them to merchants. After the merchants obtain the clothes, they simply refurbish them a bit and put them up for sale. The profits are several times higher than regular merchandise. Moreover, these merchants never stay in one place for more than 2 days. They do business with one-time customers. I think you encountered one of these unscrupulous merchants yesterday. Sigh. Consider it a loss to avoid disaster." Hearing this, Sister Jane felt helpless and could only resolve to be more cautious when making purchases in the future. Back at home, she burned the dress. Strangely enough, the synthetic cotton garment burned like paper, turning into ashes that scattered in the air, leaving no trace on the ground. Horror story. Lost soul in the year of the Zodiac. In the dark underbelly of 2019, a year ruled by the sinister year of the pig, I found myself ensnared in a web of misfortune. The whispers of the elders echoed through my mind, warning of the malevolent forces that lurked during one zodiac year. To ward off the impending doom, I adorned myself with crimson hues, clinging to the ancient belief that red could repel the wickedness that awaited me. Little did I know, the crimson veil would prove futile in the face of the horrors that awaited me. As the year wore on, an insidious nightmare gripped me each night, strangling my sanity and leaving me a mere shadow of my former self. My body, weary from sleepless nights, succumbed to the icy tendrils of dread that crept through my veins after sundown. It was on the eve of the new year, amidst the chaotic revelry and hedonistic celebrations, that my world twisted into a nightmarish frenzy. In the early hours of January 1st, while the world slumbered beneath the weight of intoxication, I lay in bed, seeking solace in sleep. But what awaited me was far from restful oblivion. As my eyelids fluttered shut, a harrowing sensation gripped my very essence. It was as if an invisible hand was wrenching my soul from its mortal vessel. Panic surged through me, cutting off my breath, as my heart hammered against the confines of my chest. In that chilling moment, I teetered on the precipice of an unknown abyss, my life force waning with every passing second. Instinct propelled me from my bed, my trembling hands clutching the phone as I pleaded with my absent parents to return home. Desperation choked my voice, and tears mingled with the sweat that dripped from my brow. Minutes stretched into an eternity as I trembled, abandoned to the clutches of an impending demise. Finally, my parents burst through the door, their faces etched with worry and love. Without hesitation, they summoned the paramedics, their frantic calls blending with my feeble whimpers. Clinging to the remnants of life, I managed to murmur an apology, my voice trembling with the weight of my impending demise. My father, his eyes brimming with anguish, assured me that my well-being surpassed any inconvenience. But his words, though soothing, couldn't silence the terror that gripped my soul. As the wailing sirens grew closer, my frail form was whisked away into the night. The hospital's sterile walls provided little comfort as doctors probed and prodded, striving to uncover the enigma that had nearly claimed me. It was revealed that I had fallen victim to alkaline poisoning and plummeting blood sugar levels. Though I had narrowly escaped the clutches of the Reaper, the horror that had invaded my life was far from vanquished. Released from the hospital's sterile embrace, I believed the nightmare had abated. But as night descended, the specter of death cast its shadow upon my fractured existence once more. Heart pounding in my chest, I battled against the suffocating dread that threatened to consume me. Each night, the same terrifying dreams tormented my sleep, and a bone-chilling coldness seeped into my bones. In one fateful dream, a stranger materialized, his visage obscured by the shadows. With a voice that resonated with otherworldly authority, he whispered, "I have brought you a talisman from the haunted depths of Thailand." The details of the dream faded upon waking, but the lingering sense of malevolence clung to me like a shroud. Driven by desperation, I sought solace in the counsel of a renowned spiritualist. His eyes, wells of ancient wisdom, bore into my very soul as he revealed the truth. "You are not alone," he intoned, his voice a haunting echo. "A lost soul has tethered itself to you, yearning to possess your being and relive its tragic tale. Seek salvation before it is too late." His words, though laced with dread, ignited a flicker of hope within me. Clutching onto that fragile thread, I embarked on a pilgrimage to a forgotten temple hidden deep within the heartland. Surrounded by ancient relics and the potent aura of sanctity, I beseeched the temple master for deliverance from the dark forces that plagued me. With the wisdom of the ages etched upon his face, the temple master reassured me. Wandering souls often haunt the realms of the zodiac year, desperate for closure in their troubled afterlife. Fear not, for you have come to the right place. Engulfed in a haze of incense and candlelight, the temple master unleashed his power, exorcising the lost soul that had ensnared me. Agonizing tremors shook my frail frame as the ethereal battle raged within. Sweat cascaded down my brow as the room crackled with otherworldly energy. Finally, a burst of searing heat surged through my veins, expelling the lingering malevolence. I collapsed, gasping for air, but a newfound tranquility washed over me, like a balm for my battered soul. The temple master's voice cut through the haze, instructing me in the ways of protection and purification. With fervor, I embraced the rituals, vowing to shield myself from the encroaching darkness that threatened to reclaim me. I abandoned late nights and the poisonous allure of excess, for I knew that my salvation lay in the careful preservation of my body and spirit. Since that fateful encounter, my nights have been free from the clutches of the spectral realm. The nightmares have surrendered their dominion, and my health has slowly been restored. This macabre odyssey, though harrowing, has forged an unbreakable resolve within me. I have learned the preciousness of life, the fragility of our mortal shells, and the existence of unseen terrors that lurk just beyond our comprehension. Let this tale serve as a haunting reminder to all who dare to ignore the ethereal world that encircles us. Pay heed to your own well-being, cherish every breath, and beware the lurking forces that seek to ensnare your very soul. For in the shadows of our existence, unimaginable horrors await those who dare to close their eyes to the supernatural abyss.